The other day, I was checking out this Netflix documentary called Blue Zones, and if you haven't seen it, I recommend that you check it out. And what it is they found these pockets all throughout the world, right? Where, hey, these individuals, right, there's communities of people that were living up to 100 years old. And they wanted to just observe, like, what are these pockets where people are living longer, right? And this is one of the things that, most people typically say, if let's say they're applying for our coaching program, we're having like a strategy call, going over their goals, going over their lifestyle, seeing if it's a good fit to work together. I'll ask them, like, what are your goals? And it typically starts off with, hey, I want to lose X amount of weight, or hey, I want to get off my medications. But then it gets a little bit deeper. Maybe it's like, I want to have more energy to play with my kids, or I want to have more confidence, or feel proud of myself. And then it typically gets a little bit deeper, where eventually somewhere in that deep-rooted why, they happen to talk about, longevity. And that's what I want to share with you guys in today's episode, is how can we acquire and make sure that we're doing the right things for longevity purposes? Because nobody wants to just get older, right? And next thing you know, it's like you're in all this joint pain, you're, lacking in your mental health. Let's say you're overweight and you're so big that you can't even move around, taking all these medications. That's not fun, right? What is fun is, hey, living longer, being healthier, being happier, living more of a fulfilled life. And I want to help you guys in today's episode. How can we get there? So, side note, right? This documentary of Blue Zones, they put together, right, all this information in terms of like what makes people live longer. And it was great because, one of the things was, having a sense of community. And we talk about that inside of our coaching program all the time at Heartletics, is like, hey, having the right support, having other members there with you, right? Guidance, community. And as, these people in the documentary, they're out there, kicking it with some of their friends, right? Having this community where it's just, once again, they're not alone. Another thing was they're eating more whole foods. They're focusing on the right nutrition, drinking plenty of water. These are simple things, and it's making them live longer that we could also be implementing into our own lifestyle. But what I want to share with you is one thing that they talked about, which is just movement, okay? Being more active. Now, they had obviously, one blue zone where, they're playing like pickleball or tennis and, doing different walks, being active in that approach. But there was another blue zone where, hey, these people, they focused on a passion that also involved them being more active. And that was just gardening. I mean, if you think about it, like, gardening is not like a workout. It's not like a sport like how pickleball is, or let's say actually like walking or anything like that. But yet you're still moving your body. You're still being very active when it comes to gardening. I mean, you're moving, around the lawn, right? And the little, maybe you're putting down mulch, or maybe you're planting flowers. Regardless, like, you're moving your body. And that's the key. Moving your body. Movement is the secret, right, to longevity. And this is so underrated. You don't hear about this often. Honestly, like, a lot of people, it's very hard for them to believe that in order to get shape, it's easy, because they think it's hard, because maybe they tried doing all the wrong things before in the past and they haven't had success. Like, maybe they tried cutting out the carbs, maybe they tried intermittent fasting, they tried this, diet, and they tried this low calorie restriction, whatever the case may be, or all these different high intensity workouts, anything like that. And so they think in order for them to have success at reaching their fat loss goals, it has to be hard, because they had a hard time doing it where they weren't successful. And if that's you right now watching this, you need to shift the mindset, honestly, because getting in shape is very, very easy. What makes it hard is staying consistent. And that's why you got to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, it works best for your lifestyle and your body type, because it's going to be a lot easier for you to stay more consistent. So let's just talk about movement, for example, because in my opinion, right, moving your body, and let's just chalk this up and let's just say getting more steps in, right, walking more, okay? In my opinion, that is the most underrated piece of advice when it comes to losing body fat and keeping it off. It's a form of cardio without you huffing and puffing, like running sprints or being on the elliptical or stair climber or, jogging or anything like that. So mentally, we feel like we're not actually burning a lot of calories. We feel like we're not actually working hard. But underneath the surface, once again, like we're actually doing a lot of goodness for our overall physical health, our mental health, and our mental health just by walking more, just by movement, just by being more active. And that's what I really want to encourage you. I'm sure you heard the phrase KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Well, think about just moving your body and walking more, okay? Why is that so important? Well, at the end of the day, it's something that you can do very easily and you could probably stick with. Now, here's how easy it is to stick with walking. If let's say, I don't know, you hurt your shoulder in the gym, you can still walk. If let's say you're underneath a lot of stress and you're dealing with curveballs and storms of life, you can still go for a walk. If let's say you're traveling, you could still go for a walk. And hear me out. You don't need to dedicate 30 minutes to walking. You can do simple things if let's say you're very busy with your lifestyle, very busy schedule, right? You got stuff to do at home, you have stuff to do with the kids, stuff to do at work. Well, you can still find ways to be more active and just move your body more, especially if you're sedentary. So maybe that's like, hey, every hour on the hour, you're getting up and moving around the office. Maybe it's like doing some bodyweight squats or something like that every hour on the hour. Maybe when people call you, instead of you sitting down taking that phone call, you're standing up and you're just walking around now, taking that phone call as well. Maybe it's parking farther away from the grocery store, or parking farther away from from work, where you can walk, farther to get to your end destination. Maybe it's taking the stairs rather than the elevator or anything like that, or the escalator. Once again, how can we move our body more? And this is what I want you to think about, because it sounds so simple, and it is, right? But remember, you need to shift the mindset. It doesn't have to be hard when it comes to losing body fat. It doesn't have to be hard when it comes to creating, longevity habits for yourself. So what can you do within your own lifestyle right now, within your own busy schedule right now, just to move your body more? And if you haven't, seen that documentary, Blue Zones, on Netflix, go check it out. It was really interesting to me, and I was really watching this, and I'm like, man, it's not hard at all. It's just at the end of the day, this is something that I've been talking about for years, and this is what we talk about inside of our coaching program. At the end of the day, you have to do what works best for you. You have to do what works best for your lifestyle. But here's the kicker in all this. It requires action. It requires you putting one foot in front of the other. So these guys that's 100 years old, guess what? It's not like they're waiting for somebody to tell them to go garden, right? Or go for a walk or go play pickleball or anything like that. Like, no, these guys realize here, like, hey, I want to do this. This helps me feel better. This helps me, gradually just live longer, more of a fulfilled life just by moving more. And that's the secret here, right? It's following something that you can stay consistent with, but it's also simple, effortless. If let's say, running, for example, or you're doing sprints or high intensity workouts, right? Sure, you're burning X amount of calories, a lot more calories, I should say, than walking your body more. But the older you get, let's say if you're in your 50s right now watching this, who knows, maybe you can do some sprints, maybe you can jog, maybe you can hop on the elliptical, for a few sessions throughout the course of the week. But fast forward, hey, 20, 30 years, next thing you know, you're 70, you're 80 years old. Can you still do that? I don't know, right? That's for you to know. But I bet you anything, at least I can say for myself, I know for a fact that I could still always walk. I can still always move my body, and that's the key. A lot of us in today's society, we live these very sedentary lifestyles. I mean, think about it, right? Like, we wake up, we rush around to get to work. On our commute to work, we're sitting down driving the car. We typically sit down at work at our desk for 8, 9, 10, 11 hours, whatever the case may be. And then we drive right back home, sitting down. As soon as we get to, home, we're typically dead tired. So we'll eat, turn on Netflix, turn on a movie, turn on a sports game. We sit on the couch, drink a beer, finish our food, have some chips late at night, and that's it. And it's just this routine of over and over again repetitiveness of being very lazy, of being very sedentary. And we eventually start to put on the pounds. Our back starts to hurt. We start dealing with all these joint pain. Eventually we look at ourselves in the mirror one day and be like, oh man, what happened? You have no confidence, lacking, the energy, like you're not proud of who you see in the mirror anymore. All of that, all of that can be changed just by making a choice, just by making a decision. Just like how with these individuals on the Netflix documentary, nobody forced them to do anything. Nobody forced them to garden. Nobody forced them to play these sports or go for these walks. They made the choice. And you need to make that same choice as well. At the end of the day, you can either be an asset or you can be a liability. And depending on your choices today, it's either going to be helping you or hurting you. And so I just know personally for me, it's like, hey, every single day I have a choice. I can feed the good wolf. I can feed the bad wolf. I just choose to feed the good wolf. And I just do so in a way where it works best for my lifestyle. It works best for my body type. And I have an easier job staying consistent with it. Whether it's walking, whether it's doing this form of training that I enjoy, whether it's, me hitting my macros in the easiest way possible, that's convenient for me, where I can still fit in my favorite foods. You need to focus on something that you can stay consistent with. And obviously, moving your body more. That, my friends, is going to be the key for longevity. So remember, if you haven't yet checked out that, series, that documentary on Netflix, I recommend you do. You might learn a thing or two. But regardless, if you did learn a thing or two about today's episode, hey, give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below also, letting me know, what do you actually enjoy doing today that you feel like you can do in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years? For me, it's just going for a walk. That's it. I got to have a park, that's a 5-minute walk away from my house. I love, especially when the weather is nice, to just walk throughout that park. It's so therapeutic for me, mentally, emotionally, physically, obviously getting more steps in, helping me lose more body fat in the easiest way possible. I know I can do that as years and years progress. So let me know in the comment section below, what can you also do the older you get, right? That's going to be sustainable for you. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that if you did. As always, guys, this has been Coach Joe with Heartletics.com. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.